Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another TBR Takedown video. Today's version is going to be just like a 12-hour kind of like just binge reading throughout the night. I need to flip my sleep schedule back around. I kind of half got it on a day shift schedule this past week during my week off, and I need to be on a night shift schedule by Monday, and it is Saturday night. So we're gonna try to stay up all night tonight. Otherwise, I think tomorrow and Monday when I go back to work is just gonna be really painful. So we're using this as a chance to kind of do a little bit of a readathon. I'll probably still be doing other stuff throughout my night, some chores, I have errands to run, different stuff like that, but like when I'm sitting at home, I would like to try to work my way through some of my books on my priority TBR and see if that can help keep me awake throughout the course of the night. We'll see. We'll see. So as a little bit of an update for my priority TBR, I am at 117 books on this one. That is partially because I did end up unhauling 3 books that were on this list. So if you watched my last video and you're like, you were just at 120, how did we get down here? I made the decision to get rid of the Nicholas Sparks and Natasha Preston books that were on this list because I just don't like them. I don't like the author. I've read 2 or 3, I think, of each of these authors. Don't really enjoy their writing style, don't really enjoy their books. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? I would just be reading these to DNF them very quickly or to give them an extremely low rating. And I just don't see the point in that. So I got rid of 3, which brings me down to 117. So for this one, I kind of always try to focus in on a little bit of a theme with the books that we're going to read, just because there's so many on the list. And I just am miserable just randomly picking books. So I figured it'd be fun to kind of have a color theme for today. So I'm going to ask Siri to pick a color for me, and we're going to see if we can find books with that specific color. So, hey Siri. Pick a color for me.
Here's one. Navy blue.
Blue. Okay. That should be actually probably a little bit too easy. I feel like there are going to be a lot of blue covers as an option. So, I mean, I'm just looking at the stack over here. There's one literally right at the top, The Girl from Venice. The one after that, also blue, What Remains of Her, for crying out loud. Okay, this might actually be too broad of a color. I was kind of hoping for something a little bit more specific, but you know, this is what we got. So this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. And you know what? Why not just pick the one that I first saw? So The Girl from Venice. This is a suspenseful World War II love story set against the beauty, mystery, and danger of occupied Venice. So this is in 1945. The war may be waning, but the city known as I'm not going to be able to... La Serenissima? Yeah, definitely didn't say that right. Is still occupied, and the people of Italy fear the power of the Third Reich. One night, under the canopy of stars, a fisherman named Senzo comes across a young woman's body floating in the lagoon and soon discovers that she's alive and in trouble. Born to a wealthy Jewish family, oh, I'm so sorry, I definitely butchered that name too, is on the run from the Wehrmacht. Senzo chooses to protect her rather than hand her over to the Nazis. This act of kindness leads them into the world of partisans, random executions, the arts of forgery and high explosives, Mussolini's broken promises, the black market in gold, and everywhere the enigmatic maze of the Venice Lagoon. Alright, that sentence is a very actually confusing one. And there's a lot going on in that, but it says it's a thriller, mystery, and retelling of Italian history that will take your breath away. Most of all, it's a love story. Yeah, there's a lot going on in just that one sentence that it says they're going to get up to, so we'll see if this actually delivers on that. I do really enjoy my historical fiction. If you've watched any of my videos before and where I've talked about them, World War II historical fiction is definitely like a morbid fascination of mine. It's a morbid interest, just because there's so many different stories to be told from that absolutely horrific period in history, but they have to be done really well. So we'll see if this one is. This was actually an advanced reader's edition on sale in 2016, if that tells you anything about how long I've had this. Yeah. So I'm not surprised by that. A lot of the books on this specific TBR that I've been trying to work through are from my time at like working at Barnes & Noble, which was around this time period. And that's when I was getting ARCs because they just gave them overflow to the staff. So yeah, this will be the one that we start with tonight and see how it goes. I do also tend to DNF the books in these reading vlogs a little bit faster than I would otherwise, other ones, just because they've been on my TBR for so long. I just have slightly stricter parameters for if I'm going to continue them. Normally, if I get the vibe that I'm not going to give this at least a 3-star, I end up getting rid of it and just moving on with my life. So that is also something to take into consideration. But yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling now and get into this. This is why I don't read books written by men. Often. I do sometimes. I'm being overly dramatic, but God, the way he talks about women in here, I don't really care if it's a time period. Like, it doesn't necessarily need to be said all the time, especially if you're depicting like the main male character as somebody that's supposed to be virtuous and he's helping this young Jewish girl run away from the Nazis and everything, and then but for some odd reason we still decide that he needs to talk about women the way that he does. Like, everything else about him is good, but we're gonna be really crass when it comes to women. Like, that doesn't line up in my brain. Like, this is not something that, like, it just, I don't know. He wasn't talking great about them, and then all of a sudden his mother goes, name one flaw in Celestina, which is the girl that she's trying to set him up with, and he goes, I can't, she could make a sausage stand up and whistle. And it's dead to me. It's dead to me. Like, why is that? Why? Why is that a thing? Why is that a thing? I DNF'd a book written by a woman the other day that decided to say that somebody could, a girl could suck the chrome off a trailer hitch or something like that. And I'm like, why are we still, like, this is by a man and a while ago, but like, that was a woman and we're still talking about other women that way? Like, what are we doing right now? Especially in books that aren't meant to be, like, depicted that way. These are not dark romance. This is a historical fiction, and we decide we need to throw that in here with a guy that we're supposed to be portraying as like the hero of this story? No. Nope. Nope. So we're done with that one. Come on. Come on. I wasn't loving the writing style anyway. It's really fast-paced to its detriment, I feel, because like we were just jumping from one scene to another super quickly, and it just wasn't seamless, and it would take me a second to realize what was going on with it, and I didn't really like that. But I was trying to look past it and see if I enjoyed the storyline, but yeah, now we're out of it. So I did, prior to starting that, decide to pull out all of the books that I thought fit this whole navy blue theme. There are some other ones that are blue, but not like quite navy blue, or not like predominantly navy blue. So this is the stack that I've come up with. Still going, there we go. So I've got a lot to choose from at the very least, So we're gonna move that to the side. The problem is I don't know which one of these to choose now because there's so many, and I just don't know what kind of mood I'm in. I feel like I'm in the mood for like a thriller. There's a few thrillers in here. There's a lot of historical fiction in here. Apparently historical fiction has a lot of blue covers, so that's weird. Like this is one. That's another World War II one. There is a Stan Brown book, which it's been a while since I've, see, that's like 600 pages. I'm not in the mood for a 600-page book, so we're gonna look past that one. I don't know. I could start a series by Veronica Roth. I do really love Veronica Roth's writing. I've only read Divergent, but like I want to read more of her stuff. So I could start that one. I could finish out the duology that we started in my last TBR Takedown and read this. This is a pretty big contender. So we'll put that and Veronica Roth over there. Let's see, 2 more historical fictions. The Girl Beneath the Sea looks kind of interesting. We have a couple thrillers. We have, yeah, I don't know. This is why I need to narrow things down, because when I do these videos, there's just too many options. You know, I feel like I should finish a series that I was in the middle of. So we're going to do Rise, and we're going to finish this duology out. And then, obviously, we'll most likely have time to get to one of these other ones. But at the very least, I will feel like I've hit 2 birds with 1 stone. Finally get that series off the list. Get it off of my series tracker that I also have that is obscenely long. So yeah, we're going to do that. If you didn't see my last TBR Takedown video, Like I said, this is a duology that I had started in that one. This is a very YA fantasy series. It follows 3 different young women that find out that they are actually sisters, like half-sisters. They are the illegitimate children of the current ruler, and they all are kind of running from some poor life choices, some things that they've done that could get them in a lot of trouble when the king's men find them to bring them back to him, and they find out, hey, like, you're his children, and also he's dying. One of you is going to have to take over the throne. So now they're trying to learn all of these new things about this world and who's going to take control, but also who is trying to expose these secrets that they all have. It was good. It wasn't anything crazy. There was a little bit of like magic, blood magic, kind of blood magic. Like there was bloodletting in order to utilize their magic, I guess you could say. And that wasn't overly expansive. Like, it is definitely a YA series, but I still enjoyed my time reading it enough that I wanted to at least see it through and get to this one. So obviously I won't be able to talk super heavily about this one because it would give away stuff for the first one, but I'll still try my best to discuss this one. So hopefully this goes better than that other book. So it's a couple hours later, and I've actually been listening to the audiobook for this just because I went out and got some new pillows for this that Horton has already decided to claim as his and ruin. And a couple other things at Hobby Lobby. Kind of walked around, looked at their fall stuff. I didn't buy any fall stuff because I'm waiting and I'm behaving, but I did look for a little bit. So yeah, I was listening to the audiobook for this that I found on Spotify. That way I could kind of keep going with this. I will say this picks up quite literally directly after the first book. There is like zero, so you know, sometimes there's like a little bit of a gap between the first book and the second book, and then they eventually fill it in or whatever. They don't like pick up at the literal same timeline. Well, this one does, and you are right in the action. Immediately, we start seeing the issues that were cropping up in the first one coming back around in this one with more severe consequences happening for these girls, and I feel like at this point I should have an indication of who is responsible for all of this, but I really don't. I'm just still really not sure who might have been coming after the girls and trying to reveal their secrets, and to what end as well. So I'm enjoying that. It's keeping me invested, it's fast-paced, and we're kind of whittling some of these suspects down, whittling the girls down too. Although I do really wish that we had been able to see them kind of try to learn a little bit about this kingdom and kind of fight for their chance to be the next ruler. That's the whole premise of them showing up in the first place, but you really don't get to see a lot of that just because of all of the other conflicts going on. It just feels like there's not actually a lot of, how do I want to phrase it? Like, real life plot going on. Everything is so wrapped up in the conflicts, and there's not much of a balance there. So I do wish there was a little bit of that, but otherwise it is fast-paced. Like I said, it's keeping my interest, which is always a good thing. So at this point, I think it's like 8:13. So, you know, been doing this for about 3 hours now with some breaks in there and everything. And yeah, we'll see how the night progresses. Normally I've fallen asleep at this point with my weird sleep schedule. I end up taking naps in the middle of the afternoon or like late night, and then I sleep till like midnight. So at the very least, I haven't done that yet. So maybe this will be successful in flipping my sleep schedule around. So I definitely spoke too soon. In the last clip, I changed to my comfy clothes and was listening to the audiobook and went, you know what, my eyes are really tired. I'm just gonna close my eyes for a little bit. You know, that little thing you do where it's like, oh, I'm still listening. And you are for a while, and then all of a sudden you aren't. So yeah, figured out where I fell asleep. I am 178 pages into this. So like, I'm a decent amount into this, but I'm also a decent amount into the night now. It is like 12:30. So oops, but whatever. At this point, it is what it is. We will continue to try to stay awake for the rest of the night and see how that goes. 178 out of, I think there's only like 300 something pages in this. 338. Nope, that was a lie. 341. So close to 338. So it's like 160 something ish pages, more or less. Yeah. And Hazel definitely found my book while I was sleeping. I don't know if you can see this, but I have tiny kitten bite marks on here, so that's lovely. That's lovely. Anyway. I don't really have an update as far as the plot goes. Still super fast moving. We had a couple moments that I thought maybe I knew what was going on, but they were a little bit like maybe red herrings. Not actually who I thought it was going to be. Or at least I hope it's not, because if it is that person, then we have determined that really, really early in this book, and that would be a bit of a letdown if we still have like 160 pages left and we already know the answer. So I am anticipating some sort of twist in here, but I don't know if that's actually what's going to happen. Overall, nothing that I'm going to rave about after I'm done with it, honestly, but it's interesting enough that I want to finish it. 100 pages in, and now I definitely know what the end of this is going to be. Not subtle once we got a couple more clues that kind of told me that my red herring was in fact a red herring. Now it's really obvious. It's really obvious, actually. It's kind of painful. But the info that they needed to come to this conclusion, just like, it feels like it's so out of left field, because everything that they figure out, any important things that these girls are figuring out, is just like given to them in like documents or different things, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this makes sense. Like, they're not really, I don't know how to explain it. It just feels like everything is so easily given to them, where it just like kind of falls in their laps at the right time, and therefore falls in the reader's laps at the right time, and you're able to put everything together. There's like no subtlety to it. There's no, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is, but it's just all convenient. It's just too easy to figure out once they get the right info. So it's just, I don't know, it's a little bit of a letdown. I don't really know what the next 100 pages could possibly hold. It better not be just dragging out this reveal, because it's pretty obvious now, at least to the reader. Obviously to the girls it's not, but like, I don't want to spend 100 pages of them trying to figure this out when I've already figured it out, because that's kind of boring. So we'll see if that ends up being what it is, but 100 more pages, super, super close. So we finally finished Rise, and I gotta say, I'm not really super thrilled with this ending. Like, I feel like I was a little bit more intrigued by the first book. We really didn't get much character development with this second one. Not a lot furthering the world overall, the creation of that, and then the ultimate like kind of reveal for what was going on here is super bizarre. Like, yeah, there were some questionable things that were used for this plot device for the person that was responsible for all of this, but even some of the characters that end up together at the end, their relationships just a little bit questionable. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like some lines were definitely crossed and blurred, especially for a YA book. So that was a little bit shocking. I think I'm probably gonna give that only like 2 stars, unfortunately. But you know, it's another book down. It's another series off of my list, so there's that. I'm grateful for that. I did pick a final book to read, well, ideally a final book to read for this video, assuming that I don't DNF and then go to a new one. This just looks really cool. Honestly, I didn't remember that I had this, so that's kind of funny to me. Like, I don't recognize this at all, which is kind of sad, actually. But it's The Girl Beneath the Sea. And this is following a Florida police diver. She is forging her own path for her and her daughter out from underneath her family's shadow. She's an auxiliary officer for Lauderdale Shores PD, and she's the go-to diver for evidence recovery. When Sloane finds a fresh kill floating in the canal, it ends up being a woman whose murky history collides with her own. The troubling ties are making Sloane less a potential witness than a suspect, and her colleagues aren't the only ones following every move she makes, so is the killer. Stalked by an assassin, pitted against a ruthless cartel searching for a lost fortune, and under watch within their ranks, Sloane has only one ally, the legendary DEA agent who put Sloane's uncle behind bars. He knows just how deep corruption runs and the kind of danger Sloane is in. To stay alive, Sloane must stay one step ahead of her enemies, both known and unknown, and a growing conspiracy designed to pull her under. Lots of different things going on in this, that's for sure. The cartel angle could be really fun or really poorly executed. I've realized reading different books that try to put that in there, so we'll see which one this falls under. But the whole police diving aspect, like for evidence recovery, is kind of cool. Haven't read a book with that before, so I like that aspect of it. And I have been sort of drifting into the thriller mood now that we're, you know, kind of approaching spooky season. I don't know, fall time of year I always start to gravitate towards thrillers. It's not super cold out yet, so I hadn't quite gotten there, but like the interest is there. I'm getting in the mood, so this might be a good prep for that, especially like diving and stuff. Still kind of ties into warm weather too, kind of in my mind. I don't really know, but yeah, so we'll give this a chance, and I will check back in once we make it maybe like 50 pages or so. So I moved downstairs and I'm 56 pages into this and really enjoying it, actually. It's not like a super fast-paced thriller currently, but it's definitely an intriguing concept, and I think that it's gonna get really, really crazy. Like, we've got a lot going on already from the beginning of this. And yeah, like I said, it's just really interesting. The concept of like a police diver for evidence, and she's literally in the water when this body gets dumped near her. And from the beginning, everybody kind of thinks that something is going on just because of her family connections and who this woman is. And she kind of has like a tentative connection to her, and she doesn't remember that. So I really think that this could be a pretty decent thriller, actually, depending on which direction we go. So yeah, I'm sitting down here. I've got little Miss Hazel in my lap and a glass of wine, and it's gonna be a good wrap up to the night, I think. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this before the night is over, but if not, I definitely plan on finishing this whole thing, at least at this point. There's no reason that I would want to DNF it. I do at least think it's probably gonna be a 3-star, if not a little bit higher, but obviously we're really early on into the book to make that snap judgment, but I don't know. I'm getting good vibes from it. I made it 100 pages, and I think I'm going to give up for the night. It is like 4:15 or something like that. So I know that my 12 hours was till 5, but I'm really, really tired. And yeah, it's not happening. I'm going to fall asleep while I'm reading this. So I do think that I'm going to extend this just a little bit, and I will check back in during the day sometime tomorrow at this point, and we will continue reading that book just because I do want to finish it with you guys. And I'm actually enjoying it, so that would be nice to have one in this vlog that I do actually hopefully enjoy. But I do think this was semi-successful in keeping me awake. At the very least, I should hopefully be able to sleep through the day today, so that tonight it'll be even better. But yeah, not the point. Right now, I am going to say goodnight, and I will see you when I wake up. As promised, it is the next day. Not as promised, I am not going to be able to finish reading The Girl Beneath the Sea in this video today. It just... Life gets in the way. Life decided it's not going to be friendly right now, so I just don't have the time, unfortunately, to do that, and I did want to put this video out soon. I do plan on getting it done by the end of the month. Don't really see a reason that that's not going to happen. I just can't finish it today. So if you do want to see what my final thoughts were on it, definitely come back and watch my, what month are we in? My August reading wrap up, and you guys will be able to see my thoughts on it then. I'm so sorry about that, but for the sake of this video, I am going to consider that 3 books that are off of my priority TBR, so we will go from 117 down to 114. So not a lot of very quick moving progress going on here, but you know, progress is progress nonetheless, and that's better than like it used to be. So at least every month I am kind of focusing a little bit on it and chipping away at it slowly but surely. So thank you so much if you've made it this far in the video, and I will hopefully see you in another one very soon. Bye guys.